vlog, friends. We just got back from an amazing trip to Europe. All three of us went to Germany, Paris, and London, and we made it happen in under about $5,000. Let me tell you how. First of all, several years ago, I got a credit card to each of the major airlines miles clubs and signed up for those. Now, you don't have to do the credit card. Each of those have like their separate mileage programs, but usually that's only when you're traveling. Whereas with the credit card, anytime you use the credit card, you usually get 1 to 2 miles per dollar that you spend on that credit card. We were very purposeful about it, and a lot of times those credit card companies will have promos. If you use your credit card this week at a restaurant, it's double the amount of miles. Well, we knew we needed a new washer and dryer, so we waited until one of those promos was happening, got our washer, and got double the amount of miles on a nice big purchase. So it still took a while. It still took a couple years, but we finally accumulated enough miles for 2 of us to go to Europe round trip and back. So we only had to pay for 1 plane ticket for the 3 of us. Now, we even landed in Germany, took the train to Paris and then another train to London, and then flew back. So it was different cities that we were traveling out of. And we're in Colorado, so usually we have to stop off somewhere on the East Coast. It was a straight shot, and again, 2 of us was completely paid for by the mileage program. So I highly recommend getting multiple airlines just in case one goes under. You never know. And my second travel hack is Groupon sites for that country. So I really wanted to do afternoon tea for the 3 of us. All right, give it a go.
This is chicken.
I knew it was chicken. But it's anywhere from $30 to $70 per person. So I looked up the Great Britain equivalent of Groupon and found afternoon teas for like half price. So the Groupon I found was only tea for 2 people. So I thought, well, if they make us pay for 1 extra person, we'll just get the cream tea, which is slightly different and cheaper than your traditional afternoon tea. Well, we got there. There was 3 of us, only paid for 2. It was plenty of food. They let us in and sit down, and we had a great time. So what would have costed us 3 times the amount, literally we only paid for the equivalent of like 1 person to go to tea. And we also used a Groupon site. It was their daily deals in Puerto Rico. So if you haven't watched our video on the best kept secret excursion in Puerto Rico, that was because of a Groupon-like site in Puerto Rico that we had found. Somebody had told us about it, and because of it, we got like the best excursion ever. So highly recommend trying to look up a Groupon site. Now, you might need to use your phone Google Translate to see what that daily deal or that Groupon is about. I had to do that in Puerto Rico. I still bought it. Everything went fine. Didn't have any problems with that. And I had to use Google Translate to figure out what the Groupon was. Next travel hack, public transport. Now, London has double-decker buses, and they are amazing. They're so much fun. Not only are they one of the cheapest ways to get around, but you can see so much of the city from the top of the double-decker bus that you feel like that in itself is somewhat of an excursion. And just a quick little tip, you need a credit card for each person that's getting on the bus. So we ended up needing 3 credit cards, 1 for Seth to get on, 1 for me to get on, 1 for Shayla to get on. We couldn't use the same credit card for the 3 of us. We were told that you could go to one of the kiosks in the metro, in their underground, they call it the Tube, and get tickets from there, all from 1 credit card. So it is easier to just get on and off with the quick tap of your credit card, but you need 1 for each person. Otherwise, find a kiosk ahead of time. The second mode that I would suggest is bike. So they have red bikes in London that you can easily, again, just tap your credit card, grab a bike, find a spot that you can dump it off at, and they're all over the city. So unless it's raining or windy, that would be another mode of transportation, gets you places fairly quickly. Just remember, they have their own bike lanes, and same with Paris. Paris has its own bike lanes with lights that turn red, green, yellow. So you would want to stay on that bike lane. It can get confusing at some times. So because of that reason, also recommend their subway, whether they call it the metro, the underground, the tube. Same thing though, a credit card, tap it. Don't even have to go to the kiosks if you don't want to. You will need 3 of them if there's 3 different people. But those are also a quick way to get around, and especially if the weather isn't so good. Like we ran into several days of windy, rainy weather, so it was kind of nice to have an excuse to go in somewhere. And then we also took the rail, the train, the fast Eurostar train from Frankfurt to Paris, and then from Paris to London. And again, it was cheap. We got places within a couple hours, so it was easy to navigate, easy to get on. They even, most of the intercoms, they'll say it in English, and people usually there somebody will speak English, and you'll be able to get help if you need it. And then my last travel hack, if you have friends, go stay with your friends. We had an amazing family that welcomed us into their home. They took such great care of us. I truly pray that the Lord will bless them tenfold for the generosity that they showed us. They fed us, they picked us up from the airport. We stayed at their house for free, didn't have to pay for a hotel. Now if you don't know anybody in that country that you want to go to, see if you can't travel with another family. VRBOs or Airbnbs, you can find some really great deals and then just split it up between 2 or 3 different families. That's another great way. So instead of having to pay for an expensive hotel, you find a great Airbnb house and divide it between 2 to 3 families. Much more manageable, a little bit nicer on the budget, and still have a great time because you get to travel with friends or with family and still have an amazing time. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed those travel hacks. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and watch for the videos from Germany, Paris, and London. We had a great time. Don't forget to subscribe. Mwah! Bye.